So the tornado warning is for Rock County. Let's see if we got the National Weather Service, just rehashing some information. They've received a few reports of a few brief tornado touchdowns, but unconfirmed from the National Weather Service. So far, the location of the possible tornado touchdowns have not yet lined up with where we would expect tornadoes. Have either had spotters indicate only straight line winds have occurred. But we are starting to see that threat now really crossing the Wisconsin state line. And let's read the text of this tornado warning from the National Weather Service. This tornado warning is in effect for Rock County until 3:45. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado just to the north and west of Rockton, moving to the northeast. This is radar indicated. Again, there has been no confirmed tornado touchdown at this stage in the game, but there is enough rotation showing up on the radar as this storm is essentially crossing the Illinois-Wisconsin border at this time to have force the issuance of a tornado warning. Let's try to draw a radar scan here, and let's take a look at some of the rotation here. Again, the part of the storm that's showing the most signs of rotation, it's not particularly impressive, but basically straddling right along the Illinois-Wisconsin state line to the north and east of Durand. So in Newark and Beloit, that's where we're going to be most imminently concerned with the possibility of this potentially tornadic storm. And again, we want to use the word potentially because we have not seen, at least with our eyes, or we've had spotter reports of potential tornadoes, but we have not had any confirmation of a touchdown just yet. Going back to my feed with the National Weather Service, as they are talking too, in addition to this storm, and I think we're going to be able to see the severe thunderstorm warning for Winnebago County expire on schedule at 3:15 here, as the most dangerous part of the storm is likely now shifted into southern portions of Wisconsin. The National Weather Service is watching the storm in Ogle County with increased interest as the hail threat is increasing for folks in Forreston, Adeline, Baileyville, eventually Leaf River, and then if the storm holds together, Byron, Stillman Valley will watch out, and then southwestern Winnebago County. Again, this is all predicated on the fact that this storm, the assumption that this storm holds together, which is by no means a guarantee. Let's talk about, it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Stevenson County now. That's for southeastern Stevenson County. That's going to go until 3:45. This does include Lanark, Shannon, German Valley, Rydot, and the Freeport area, although the worst of the storm looks to pass just south of the city of Freeport proper. Obviously, earlier on, there were sirens going off in Freeport with the storm that's now, at least for the time being, get a little sigh of relief here because there is no imminent severe weather threat with this storm. The worst of it now has passed into southern Wisconsin. We are concerned, though, folks in Beloit, anybody watching anywhere in the city of Beloit, north, south, east, or west sides, no matter where you are in the city of Beloit, you need to be in your safe place now, in a basement, lowest level of your structure, away from windows. Again, there is a tornado threat, an imminent tornado threat for the entire city of Beloit. This warning does include Janesville. I do think that the worst of this storm will pass just to the south of Janesville. Right now, let me just be clear. There are two main threats with this storm. A tornado, potentially, and also some very large hail. This has shown what we call meteorologically a reflectivity spike here over the course of the last several moments' time, which means the storm is intensifying, and as so, the threat for large hail is increasing. I'm starting to see right over here, just to the west of Beloit, right along the Wisconsin border, see that little hook, that little notch that's showing up? That is called a hook echo, and that is oftentimes what we look for when we talk about storms that potentially could have tornadic characteristics. Let's see here. We have something from the National Weather Service. 2 streaming storm chasers had a tornado on the ground near Durand that has kind of gone up and down over the last 20 minutes. So the storm, the chaser feed that I'm watching is presently on the north side of the city of Beloit, right by Riverside Park. looks like. And I'm just looking at, as they're looking back to the west behind them, they're by Riverside Park in Beloit. We don't really see anything here as they continue to jaunt eastward away from the storm. We're looking in certain different angles and don't really see much from their particular vantage point at this stage in the game. So that said, it is obviously far too early to sound any sort of all clear because this storm is looking pretty darn impressive as it straddles the Illinois-Wisconsin state line and heads northeastward into the city of Beloit. So if anyone in Beloit needs to take shelter, again, thankfully I think we can sound the all clear for the time being in Winnebago County. The warning has since been allowed to expire. If you were concerned earlier on by the sirens that were going off about 10-15 minutes ago, there was never a threat here for the city of Rockford or for the Rockford Metro. This was a threat that was specifically confined to the northwestern portions of the county, including Durand, Sherland, Harrison, Rockton, and South Beloit, that area that I've just circled there. There was never a threat here in the Rockford Metro in either of the parks, or even out here on the far west side of the city of Rockford, where our station is located. The threat now is clearly to our north, just now entering Rock County and about ready to work to portions of Beloit, perhaps even downtown Beloit. So anyone in the Beloit area needs to seek shelter immediately. Clinton, Wisconsin, you've got some time, but not much. You'd be next on this storm's potential track as this storm continues to move to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. We're going to draw a track on this storm here very quickly here. We have had a report of ping pong ball size hail and a wall cloud, and that was near 5 miles to the south of Orfordville within the past few moments. So that is an interesting development to monitor as well. Let's draw some tracks here on this storm as it continues to move. Let me just get the latest speed information for the National Weather Service. So moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So we're talking about a near imminent threat for the city of Beloit, primarily the north side of the city of Beloit. Then eventually this will be working into the town of Turtle. That's going to be at about 3:30, so in about 10 minutes. Clinton, Wisconsin. If you are in Clinton, Wisconsin, 3:40 is the time of arrival, and then into Darien, which is in Walworth County, should the storm hold together closer to the top of the hour. But Beloit, the threat right now is an imminent one, and this is the time where we need to be in our safe place in a sturdy structure away from windows in a basement, if at all possible. The Weather Service here is just updating us on the storm in Ogle County, just to the west of Forreston. This will be crossing Route 26 in the western portions of that county in the next 5 minutes or so. So let's go back down here real quick and look at the storm that is over Forreston right now. This is actually just past east of Route 26. This is going to be a threat here for Adeline, for Leaf River, German Valley, and Rydot. Some very large hail as well. And watch out, folks, in southwestern Winnebago County. Storm is holding its own. So let's say Pecatonica, Winnebago. Rockford, if there is going to be a storm that affects us here in the short term, it would be that storm that's presently stretching between just south of Freeport and just to the south of Forreston. That's the storm that here in the Rockford Metro, we need to have our eyes most clearly tuned into at this stage in the game. Back up to the north we go, where the tornado warning does continue until 3:45 for Rock County, including the city of Beloit. This is the time at which the threat for Beloit is probably at its highest. The confirmed reports that we have right now are a couple of unconfirmed reports of a tornado touchdown outside of Durand with this storm. There have been spotter reports that there have been brief touchdowns of a tornado, unconfirmed at this point in time. We have had confirmation, though, of ping pong ball size hail and a wall cloud in southern portions of Rock County with this storm. And again, when we use the term wall cloud, that is oftentimes a precursor, not all the time, but it is oftentimes a precursor to a tornado touching down. Taking a look here at the spotters, with the spotter feed that I've been following here, they're presently on the east side of Beloit, and it looks like maybe in a holding pattern here, or perhaps just at a stoplight, but they're on Milwaukee Road, which is heading out to the far east side, almost out as far as I-90. And again, they are looking off to the south and west, and as I look to the south and west, don't see a whole lot showing up there. So for the time being, good news. They are now on the move once again. They're moving to the north and east toward I-90. And so we'll continue to keep an eye on that vantage point as the storm. Now the worst of the storm looks like it's passing into the north side of Beloit. So let's find that little hook just to the north of Beloit. So as we zoom in here, let's try to get some intersections here. So where there would be rotation, if there were to be a tornado with this storm, it would be on the north side of Beloit, so Route 81, maybe just to the north of Route 81. So Route 81 is one of the busier thoroughfares that extend northeast out of Beloit. That would be Milwaukee Road, where we would see the Menards and the Walmart, basically a lot of your popular chain restaurants are out on that side of town, and that's the part of town that is potentially most imminently at risk for this rotating storm that has had at least a history of producing funnel clouds. I think we could safely say it has a history of producing funnel clouds, just not confirmed that we've had tornado touchdowns. Rockton, you're about to get rained on very heavily, and there could be some small hail there. Thankfully, the worst of the threat has passed just to the north of the city of Rockton. There is a secondary band of showers and thunderstorms working into northwestern Winnebago County. Nothing severe with this at this point in time. Our two areas of concern are, of course, in Rock County, where we have the tornado warning, and then southeastern Stevenson County, northwestern Ogle County, where we do have the threat for some very large hail, perhaps up to quarter size and maybe even a little bit higher than that. Still looking at the storm spotter feed, see a lot of ominous looking clouds. Don't really particularly see any sort of rotation or any lowering of the clouds. From their perspective, as I look, let's see here, they are still looking off to the west here with the storm behind them. And again, I do not see anything there that's particularly concerning. And again, they are on Route 81, which is Milwaukee Road on the far east side of town. And it looks like at the very eastern extent of Route 81, it essentially becomes I-43 moving to the northeast toward Milwaukee. And that's where that spotter team appears to be at this moment in time. The problem with this storm is if there is a tornado, this is what's called a high precipitation supercell, meaning it's got a ton of rain in it, and it's going to be very hard to see. So it is a possibility here that if there is a tornado, it's just not even visible to the human eye because it is potentially wrapped in rain. That is a possible concern, and that may be why, at least from the one vantage point that we were watching on camera here, I didn't see anything particularly ominous. The good news here for the city of Beloit proper, for downtown Beloit, if you're west of Route 51, so if you're west of the Rock River in Beloit, the worst of the threat here is just about over. That threat is passing quickly east of Route 51, and thankfully, more into rural areas here. So we are a little concerned about the town of Turtle. That's right along I-39, maybe up towards Chaupier. There could be a little bit of a concern as well. But for the city of Beloit here, we're getting closer and closer and closer to having seen the most ominous part of this storm pass us by. And we're going to head back here to the computer here and just take a look at our National Weather Service feed. See if we have any updates from our colleagues at the National Weather Service. Nothing new aside from the severe thunderstorm warning for Stevenson County, which does continue here until, let's see, that does continue until, I believe, 3:45. We've got so much information coming in here to keep up with. Yes, so German Valley, or just to the southeast of Freeport, right at German Valley, that's your main threat is large hail. Up to quarter size in diameter. The wind threat there looks to have come down quite a bit. We are concerned still into the Forreston area, areas to the east of Forreston, so Adeline, Leaf River, and then eventually Byron. This storm could produce some large hail here within the next 15 or 20 minutes. I'm gonna switch here to the feed from the storm spotters as they continue to move northeast. They're out of Beloit. And continue to move, I think, look toward Hart Road, so just to the east of Beloit, near I-43. And there's not a whole lot that we see from their perspective. They keep changing up the camera view. Not a whole lot that we can see from this perspective of any sort of tornadic activity taking place, but there is a huge rain shaft, which means that this thing, if there is a tornado taking place with it, it may be extremely difficult, if not impossible to see, given the fact that it is potentially rain-wrapped. Rotational characteristics, look, there's some that may be just to the north and west of Beloit, but for the Beloit Metro, for the time being, I think perhaps we may be seeing things calming down just a little bit. I am again going to watch out for the storm here in Ogle County. This is the potential. If there is a storm that has the potential of causing an impact with hail for the Rockford Metro, it would be the one over northwestern Ogle County, just to the north of Forreston, just to the south of German Valley. So now about ready to work into southern portions of Stevenson County and then eventually western portions of Winnebago County. So Pecatonica, Winnebago, and yes, even Rockford, be on the lookout and be prepared to potentially take shelter in the moments ahead. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's also worth noting here, well to our south and west over southwestern portions of Whiteside County, near Prophetstown. That is a hail-producing storm as well. All right, we're going to take a break here, I think, in just a moment, except I just did hear alert tones taking shape, so we may have some new information from the National Weather Service in Milwaukee with regard to the storm in Rock County. Let's see here. Just an update that the tornado threat does continue with this storm as it continues to track northeast, just north of Beloit, crossing U.S. Highway 51 and about ready to cross I-39 and I-90 just to the north of Beloit. So the city of Beloit proper, we are very close to being able to sound the all clear for folks there. So we are going to take a break in our coverage for the time being. We will certainly come back on the air if and when the developments necessitate that, if any new warnings are issued or if any updates to these warnings are noteworthy to pass along. In the meantime, we will head back to our local programming and more updates to come as the afternoon progresses. Southern
Rock County, but as you've been mentioning, it does appear that kind of the area where the strongest rotation has appeared to more broaden out. That does not mean that we're out of the woods as far as gustier winds are concerned, but there is the potential still for some gusty winds as well as some very large hail just off to the north of that particular area of that storm. But at least as far as low-level rotation is concerned, it does appear that this has been a little bit broader in some areas, and not only shown that on velocity, but also on our latest scans of reflectivity as well. And we had a very, very defined notch not that long ago. I'll see if I can go back a couple frames before, and we saw a very, very defined notch right when it was over top of Sherwin. Now, this was around 15, 20, 25 minutes ago when that notch was there. But as it continued to develop and move off to the north and to the northwest, or the northeast, it did not get as much defined, and it became a little bit more muddied with the potential for that rotation in those areas. It's not to say that this still can't ramp itself back up and develop that rotation again, but at least the bigger concern with this cell is going to remain with some of the gustier winds, as well as the hail that could be possible within some of those locations as well. And I mentioned earlier with the potential for that hail, not only on this northern edge of the storm, but also behind it, just to the east of Newark, it does appear that there is some area of heightened returns on the radar, and that is indicating that there is the potential for some of that, those stronger hail cores to develop in some locations as well. And it does appear, yeah, so this is for the Ogle County storm off to the south. They remained in effect until 3:45. So most of our warnings that we have at the moment go until 3:45 p.m. The National Weather Service did trim the one in portions of Ogle County that's near Foreston up toward Pecatonica. That area, at least in the northern Ogle County part, still remains in effect until 3:45 p.m., as well as southeastern Stevenson County. And if this storm does continue to hold its strength or strengthen any more, it could get extended into portions of Winnebago County. But at the moment, the concern with this storm is still going to be with gustier winds as well as hail of around quarter size. Not really seeing any rotation as much with this storm as we had with some of these other storms more off to the north with that northern cell. A little bit further off to the south of that, we still have one additional severe thunderstorm warning that is for southern Whiteside County. And that one, I believe, goes until 4 o'clock. So that one's still a little bit longer for that particular cell. But that one does indeed go until 4 o'clock p.m. And that one also capable of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as quarter-sized hail. But briefly running down all of the warnings that we have this one warning in southern Whiteside County that is capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-sized hail. That goes until 4 o'clock tonight. Up to the north, we have portions of Ogle and Stevenson County. That storm also capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-sized hail, and that one is moving to the northeast again, and that one still goes until 3:45 p.m. The other set of warnings that we have are for Rock County, and this is where we have our tornado warning and our severe thunderstorm warning, where we continue to see additional our radar scans that have come back. And Savannah, our most recent velocity scan does still indicate that there might be some of that rotation, but maybe not quite as strong as even what it was much earlier.
Exactly, Jordan. That's the case. We were seeing this pretty strong earlier, but this is continuing to weaken a little bit. It's still there, though, which leaves us a little concerned, which is why we're seeking or telling everybody to seek shelter. That tornado warning runs until 3:45. So this area of rotation just along Turtle, Wisconsin, headed towards Shopier. This storm still moving east. So it has crossed 39, where that strongest area of rotation that we're watching is. That's also just to the north of Fox Hollow, 67, also along 43, Interstate 43, as you're heading up towards Milwaukee. So this is the strongest area of rotation, but it is weakening, probably because that cell on radar right behind it, which is also leading to a severe thunderstorm warning, kind of over just to our southwest. That one's kind of leading to that not being able to strengthen as well, because some of that is leading to them merging, or what we're seeing behind that. So this is still producing some good-sized hail or decent-sized hail and some strong winds along with heavy rain. So you might not be able to get a visual, but this storm has had a history of producing at least a funnel cloud. We did previously hear sirens go off along or around the station. So that is near Turtle, Wisconsin, just crossing I-39 around I-43 as you're heading up towards Milwaukee too. So just to the south of Shopier, this is the tornado warned cell right here. So Fox Hollow, Clinton, Beloit, Garden Village, La Prairie, all of those areas included in that red box. That's where the tornado warning is in effect for, and you need to heed these warnings. So get into a basement, make sure you have something to protect your head. If you don't have a basement, somewhere on the lowest level of your house, apartment complex, interior room. So what that means, a pantry not leading to any exterior walls. So it can be a pantry, it can be a bathroom, also a closet. Make sure it doesn't have any windows. So this is the latest radar scan that we're seeing, kind of nearing Clinton at this point in time, where that strongest area of rotation is crossing I-43. This is the area we need to watch closely for the strongest rotation. So still near Shopier, but this area right here is where we're watching, and that inflow notch. But again, Jordan, not as pronounced as it once was.
Right, and Savannah, I want to also mention with that storm, they did extend that severe thunderstorm warning into in portions of Walworth County in southern Wisconsin. So that does include now Greene County and most of Greene County, as well as now much of Walworth County in southern Wisconsin as well. And they did not extend the tornado warning for that one, but they did extend that severe thunderstorm warning to go into that next county over. So briefly kind of talking about that severe thunderstorm warning, the storm currently located over Beloit, that warning goes until 4:30 p.m. and the storm moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour, still, as with most of these storms are, capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as quarter-sized hail. They did not extend the tornado warning, and they did remove the tornado possible tag from this next storm that they issued further out. However, the tornado warning for Rock County does remain in effect until 3:45 p.m., and they have not indicated one way or another yet, National Weather Service, on if they're going to extend that any further. But we do still have that severe thunderstorm warning now that includes much of Rock County as well as into Walworth County. So that now includes, with this storm, still capable of producing, again, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-sized hail, but the tornado possible tag has been removed from at least the extension of this severe thunderstorm warning. So I will put a storm track on this particular storm and put it forward to see where it's going. I got to make sure that I have the speed correct before I actually do that. But a storm track on this particular cell that is located near Beloit, just off to the northwest of Beloit, heading toward Clinton, Wisconsin now, into Darien, and eventually into Elkhorn. This storm, again, still capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as quarter-sized hail, but a little bit of a storm track. And some of these locations to the north of it, I'll probably redraw this here in a moment, actually. Some of those locations north of it, Savannah's already drawn a storm track on it, so I will toss over to Savannah, who has already done that work for me. So Savannah, where is this storm going and how soon will it get in some of these locations?
Yes, Jordan, thank you. I did just go ahead and draw a storm track over these areas. So this severe thunderstorm warning did get extended to now include some of eastern Rock County and also Walworth County. The tornado warning did not get extended, but still need to seek shelter. Clinton, it will be near you at 3:47 p.m., so within the next about 3 to 4 minutes. LaGrange at 3:40 or 3:59, nearing 4 p.m. 4:03 for Delavan, Wisconsin, 4:10 Elkhorn, and 4:25 for Vernon. So this storm is currently still moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So all of these areas you see in cities included in this box that goes north of I-43 and also to the east of I-39, anywhere in this Johnsontown also included in that new severe thunderstorm warning. So everyone that's kind of in this orange box still need to take this seriously and seek shelter. But the tornado tag was dropped. We still do have a little bit of rotation, and that storm still does include the Beloit, Wisconsin area, but that is continuing to kind of move off to the northeast of Beloit, Wisconsin, but there's still this cell behind that too that's sitting just around Rock, Wisconsin. This is producing some pretty decent sized hail and has had a history of producing up to quarter-sized hail, or even a little bit larger than that, 1.5 inches in diameter sized hail, which Jordan is pulling up the hail tracker on that, kind of just to Clinton's northwest.
Right, yeah, Savannah, just to the north of kind of the Beloit area, that's where we're seeing that hail that's being indicated by radar. Not really all that strong, but north of Beloit, just to the northwest of Clinton, not far away from La Prairie or Garden Village. This is the area that radar is indicating there is the potential for some of that hail to develop. And if I put that instead over our radar, you can see that's where some of these darker colors are being indicated by the radar as well. Right near La Prairie, moving off to the north and to the northeast. Those are the areas that are going to be seeing some of that stronger amount of hail in some locations as well. And we are kind of looking again with this storm as it's beginning to possibly redevelop a little bit more of a hook in some locations as it's approaching the Clinton area. So Savannah, I will let you look at that here in a moment as well.
Okay, thank you. Here's the latest velocity scan. So kind of just to the east of Chaupier, northwest of Clinton. This is the latest velocity scan based on where the best rotation is. So we're seeing this area just along 43 near Clinton, also Shopier. So if you're in this area, definitely seek shelter. Also just to the west of 140, headed off northeast towards Bradford as well. So all of these areas that are in between Shopier, Clinton, Bradford, also south of Emerald Grove, that's the area right here on radar. This notch right here is what is appearing to be a little concerning as we are seeing this redevelop maybe a little bit. This right here would be the strongest area of rotation in here. So if there were to be a tornado, which this still is, and has a tornado warning cell, this is the area we'd be looking for. So kind of moving over Shopier and just to the northeast of that area based on the latest radar scan. So that still includes the Clinton area. You still need to be in your safe place along with Bradford, La Prairie, Shopier, Emerald Grove. North of that notch that we were just talking about, I think that's where the best chance for hail or the greatest size of hail is, which Jordan just had that pulled up. So near La Prairie, you see these dark shades of red. That's all significant or signaling where those areas of hail would be. But this area right here, the notch or the hook that's redeveloping a little bit, that's where the best area of rotation would be. And Jordan, where that best chance of a tornado for any development would be located.
Right, and Savannah, I wanted to also bring up that they did at least temporarily allow that tornado warning to expire just a couple of minutes ago at 3:45 p.m. So that tornado warning not any longer in effect for Rock County. However, the severe thunderstorm warning still remains in effect for Rock County into Walworth County. That goes until 4:30 p.m. It does not currently have a tornado tag possible on it, but as we've been noting, that notch still showing up with radar in some of those locations and has been continuing to move off to the north and to the northeast. So I'm going to take this back a little bit and look at, we kind of have two storms that have almost been kind of coming together. We had this storm that was out near Durand, as well as this one that was just to the southwest of Beloit. And if we push our radar forward just a little bit, we see those two storms have almost come together in a merger. And those two storms coming together may have just given this a little bit of a notch to develop in some of those locations. So we have to at least be watching with how the potential for that merger may end up developing these storms going forward. But either way, that severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for eastern Rock County into most of Walworth County. That lasts until 4:30 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as quarter-sized hail. That storm moving off to the northeast around 30 miles per hour. Savannah, have you seen anything recent since last time we spoke?
No, we have not. Just the one severe thunderstorm warning, and we're actually going to hop off the air right now, get ready for a 4 p.m. newscast. But if there are any additional tornado warnings, we will cut back in. Also, be sure to join us coming up right at 4 p.m. So we're going to hop off and throw you back to the regularly scheduled programming.